What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video, I'm doing a preview for the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings today at 1 o'clock, okay? I'm glad you all stopped in for this video, and I think you guys may see something pretty special in this one, okay? So let's get it started. Alright guys, so apparently I got word before the show from that guy sitting over there. I don't know who he is, but he's talking to me right now. Basically, Stephen A. Smith is in the building. Look, I'm not sure if it's the real Stephen A. Smith, okay? This man's over here just telling me some Stephen guy called in. He said he's Stephen A. Smith. I was like, all right, man, we got to have him on the show because that would be hilarious. So he will be stopping in, and actually, he's here right now. He's on the phone. So I'm going to ask him his questions first. We'll get those out of the way before we get into our preview. Okay, so they gave me a sheet of questions, two questions, so they probably just told me what to ask him. It's only 2 questions. Like, I can memorize 2 questions, guys. Come on now. Okay, this may be a little off topic from the game, but Kirk Cousins coming into Detroit today, okay? So this is something that I think is interesting because I know a lot of people have him, like, maybe high on their list. Some people think he's very overrated. So where would you put Kirk Cousins? Or who would you have ahead of Kirk Cousins?
Boys. Nick Foles.
He's not going to be
Case Keenum.
Anyway. He's good. Everyone knows that.
Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
No?
Okay, all right, so I guess I got one more question. All right, so again, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings today. So how excited are you to see Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings going into Detroit today? That explosive offense, how excited are you to see them play in Detroit today?
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. I'm not in the mood to play with anybody. My brother Bomani Jones is in another booth looking at me. I love that brother. I don't want to talk to you today. I've got producers who have been very, very good to me. I've got bosses who have been very, very good to me. I've got co-workers that I love. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Okay. I think he left. Guys. All right, so that's Stephen A. I guess that's Stephen A. Smith. For real, it is. Okay, now let's hop into the video. We're going to be looking at my preview for the Minnesota Vikings versus the Detroit Lions. We all know about us, at least most people do. So we'll start off with the Minnesota Vikings. Offensively, are 12th in the league. They average 25 points per game, 372.3 passing yards per game, 213 passing yards per game, and 159 rushing yards per game. So yes, they are actually ranked 3rd in the NFL in rushing the football, and that's something that could be a problem for the Detroit Lions. They don't throw the ball very well, which is maybe you could say a strength of the Detroit Lions, but giving up the run is maybe not a strength. So I see today, when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, they obviously have a lot of weapons, okay? They got Laquan Treadwell. That's a joke. They have other guys, though. They have Diggs, they have Thielen. They have those type of guys. They have Kirk Cousins. You know how Stephen A. feels about that. Anyways, that's what they're, that's some of their weapons out there. Now, I'm not too worried necessarily about Kirk Cousins. So I think when you play a team like this, a team that can run the ball really well, averaging almost 160 yards per game on the ground, this is a team where we have to put more people in the box. Now, I'm not sure at the time of making this whether or not Deshaun Ham will play. It would probably be like a game time decision. I'm hopeful that he does because that could help out our defense line a lot. I know Mike Daniels won't play, so that definitely hurts. But I think this is a team that's going to try to pound the ball, obviously, with Dalvin Cook. He's a really good running back. That's something that they've been doing all year. It was really until last week when the Minnesota Vikings got it going passing the football and Kirk Cousins had that really big game. But up until that point, he was pretty much quiet and, they were just running the football, and that's really all they had offensively. So, yes, their numbers look really good rushing the ball, and that's something that we're going to have to focus on first. Now, you may be saying, okay, well, how do you do that? How do you put this many guys in the box and then, guard all these great wide receivers? Well, it's kind of not a bad situation for the Detroit Lions because my thing is this. You can play man-to-man pretty much every time versus every team anyways. So I would just put, your 7 guys, 8 guys maybe sometimes in the box, and then you just man up, okay? Maybe if there's 2 wide receivers, you man up 1 safety deep. 3 wide receivers, maybe you don't bring anybody. Maybe we bring like a 0 blitz. You just man up and blitz everybody. That could be the things that we see from Matt Patricia today because, I think you definitely have to pick where you want to attack this team because this team, you either have to go for the run or you have to try to slow down Kirk Cousins. And I would be more worried about Dalvin Cook running the football than Kirk Cousins, especially when you know what the Detroit Lions defensively have done against the run so far this season. They definitely struggled. They struggled against the Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings, okay? And we also don't want to let them control time possession. On away games, road games, the Minnesota Vikings are going to come into Detroit, try to establish a run game, and keep our offense off the field. That is definitely going to be their thing. Don't turn the ball over. Make sure we run the ball and keep their offense off off the field. So that's going to be their strategy. Now, defensively, Minnesota Vikings are, again, one of the best teams in the league. They give up 15.5 points per game, which is crazy. They give up 310 yards per game, which isn't that bad, 218 passing yards, which is top 10, and they also give up 91 rushing yards. All 4 of those stats are all in the top 10 of the league. Okay, this is a super good defense. They are 4-2. This is one of the best defenses you'll see in the league across the board because they do everything well. So this is one of those games where you shouldn't expect the Lions to put up a lot of points. Maybe Matthew Stafford only throws 1 touchdown pass, but that may be enough. We've seen in the past where these games are pretty ugly, but they're very close to the end. We've seen 16-13. We've seen games like that where the Detroit Lions pull it out at the end. A lot of Matt Prater field goals, and it's just not a high-scoring game. It's kind of boring. It's all about defense, but sometimes that is the most fun game to watch. Okay, some people like to watch defensive games, some people like to watch those offensive battles. Personally, I don't care as long as the Lions win. That's just my thing. But I know a lot of people don't like the Matt Prater field goals, and yes, punching the ball in the end zone is going to be super important today because points are going to be at a premium for sure. But at the same time, don't be surprised if there are a lot of Matt Prater field goals because that's just kind of how it goes. But good thing is we have an advantage on that because our goalposts usually don't let anybody make it. They shrink when they kick it, okay? Hopefully the NFL doesn't just figure out I gave away the secret, but when they kick the ball, the goalposts go like that and shrink. So that's kind of what messes them up a little bit. Hopefully we do that today against the Minnesota Vikings. But when you look at attacking this team, I think defensively you kind of have to say, Kirk Cousins, you got to beat me. You have all these great man-to-man defenders. Justin Coleman, you're going to have Darius Slay. You have great one-on-one defensive backs. Rashawn Melvin. You kind of have to put it into the hands of Kirk Cousins and say, look, beat me one-on-one. You have to make all these plays. Now, Diggs is a guy that can burn you deep, and Thielen just catches everything. So that's kind of the problem there. Usually it's Slay on Thielen, but you never know because they move around a lot. Either way, I'm confident in all of these defensive backs. I just would say the only thing is don't give up the deep routes. Make Kirk Cousins beat you on the medium and short passing game. Because honestly, I think if you give him that shot deep, it's going to boost his confidence and it opens up the whole game. Especially when you're playing a team that only gives up 15 points per game, you can't afford to give up big plays because it's just going to be so hard to bounce back from that. Rushing the ball is still going to be really hard. They haven't been able to do it this year. They've worked out guys. They've been trying to look into things. They just haven't brought anybody in yet. And when you only give up 91 rushing yards per game and you're already not a very good rushing team, this is going to be tough. I know they'll try to establish it again. It's just not going to be easy. And when you look at Matthew Stafford, the pressure is going to get there. They're going to get there quickly. And I would say go to all the screens and stuff that they've run for past weeks, right? The screens, the wide receiver screen, running back screen, get out to the flats, make the running backs make a play. Okay, you have all these fast running backs. They should be able to get out there. We should see Ty Johnson today. No reason that Ty Johnson doesn't play at all today like last week. Okay, Ty Johnson, it should be implemented in this. When you play in a defense like this, that's aggressive. You know, they're trying to get stops in the backfield. You can make one guy miss and you're gone. So Ty Johnson should get a lot of opportunities, even out of the backfield, catching the football. Those guys should get those chances. That's what I really want to see out of Darrell Bevel. I'm sure he'll come up with a really good game plan. I'm obviously don't know what the heck they're gonna do, but I'm sure he has a pretty good game plan coming into this game. And again, Minnesota Vikings favored by 2 points in Detroit, and I think this is a very interesting one that they are favored at Detroit. Detroit Lions sit 2-1. So if the Detroit Lions can win this game, they will pass the Minnesota Vikings for now in the standings because they'll have the tiebreaker and they'll also have less losses than the Minnesota Vikings. So there is a chance the Lions can make up a lot of ground. This is a super important game. We talked about it. It's very important because if they lose, they're going to drop pretty far. But if they win, they can hop potentially back into second and they're right near, first place. So very big week for Detroit Lions. We know the Green Bay Packers have a tough game against the Raiders. So there's a chance that you can make up a lot of ground this weekend. And hopefully the Lions can do that versus a Minnesota team that's very, very stingy. Okay, so you guys got to let me know in the comments, what would you do? What's the game plan? And I guess your prediction. So my prediction for this game, knowing that they don't give up a lot of points and it's probably going to be an ugly divisional game, I'm seeing somewhere around 17-14 the Lions get it done. And if that's the case, obviously the Lions win the spread there, okay, because the Minnesota Vikings are favored by 2. So I got the Lions winning 17-14 in this one. Let me hear your predictions, comments below. Thank you, Prop, for watching, and I'm out.